Right, greetings everybody and welcome to the test of Gilgamesh, the trials of Gilgamesh, if you will. Now, to start the video, this video has gone up a little bit late just because I've been busy. I've been trying to keep the Final Fantasy videos flowing throughout the month of December, and I think I did pretty good about having a video-ish pretty much every single day for the entire month of December, so I feel, you know, like that's an accomplishment. Hopefully people have been enjoying it, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But anyway, today we're going to be testing out Gilgamesh, and I'm going to start off a little bit differently today, starting off with my general findings, then doing a talk about the video that I watched of Peachin and talking a little bit about that because Peachin is one of the ones that I reference a bunch on this channel, and he did make a video about Gilgamesh, so I do need to talk about it. And then we'll do the actual demonstration. So first off, talking about my general findings. Now, basically, Gilgamesh is a highly rated character at this moment. I'm not going to contest that Gilgamesh is up there in terms of some of the best characters in the game right now, but he hasn't quite cemented himself as being truly game-breaking or anything like that yet. So where it stands, we're looking at kind of right now more of a Yuna or Riku situation where they're definitely have the potential depending on what team they're in, but we're not looking at anything broken quite yet. So we're gonna have to wait for New Year's for that potential eventuality. But let's talk about what Gilgamesh is good. First off, Pierce Attacker, a brand new Pierce Attacker. Spears have been waiting for a new damage dealer for a good long while. I think they found a really, really good one. Gilgamesh has a good amount of just firepower in his kit that is actually, from what I've seen, more solid than I thought in my initial review. His DPS actually can't get there. And that's also in part to the fact of his follow-up attack is just really, really solid and capable of dishing out a good amount of damage and killing off characters fairly effectively. So that's good. Next up, he does have a bunch of ranged abilities that work quite well with him and other characters, so that's a big strong point. Talking about he has magical damage debuffs, which are pretty good against the number of mages that are out there, and he comes with ranged attack abilities, so he doesn't need to get too terribly close. And that range attack, you might say to yourself, well, why is that really that important? Well, as it turns out, the overall thing about Gilgamesh that I'm finding very quickly is that he is pretty damn durable. He has a lot of powerful resistance reduction debuffs. He has also just that range, which can keep him pretty safe from DPS early on and make him last quite well in a fight. He can grant himself a lot of physical and magical damage reduction sources, and he has HP recovery when his HP drops below a certain percentage. All of this actually stacks very well together to be quite good. Now that's the general comment about Gilgamesh. Let's get into the specificities, I can say that word, with Peachin's video. Peachin basically did a video today where he, at least as of the time of this recording, where he tested Gilgamesh in a limited guild war situation, which to me is pretty impractical because I mean, like, that's a very small demographic of Wotv's play race that can actually just, you know, throw the resources to get that character ready for this week, essentially right now. So Peachin's testing has been vastly limited so far, as of the time of this recording, to only looking at in a limited battle type situation, which I am not overly interested. I don't think that's where Gilgamesh will be quite best, and I don't think it's where he's going to excel. So yeah, I did want to say that I think that Peachin's video is not bad, it's just not incredibly great data right now for, you know, the most of the game, because you're not really getting that kind of experience most of the time. And again, for where we are on JP right now, that would be an incredible rushdown of resources to get him up to 140 for like a limited guild war situation. Now, talking about the team that Peachin used, it was a low tier character, healer, support character, and AC Sephiroth and Gilgamesh. And the reason why I don't talk about the low tier support character much is because he's just there to basically meet a quota and provide some support and some buffs, which is important. However, that's what a lot of teams are doing. The more interesting thing to me is the DPSs being 100 costs and both Sephiroth and Gilgamesh's performance. Gilgamesh's performance is better than AC Sephiroth right now, and that's probably because most people are prepped still, at least just a little bit, for Curse as a status effect, which means that AC Sephiroth's performance is down. But even then, like, Gilgamesh's survivability was so high in some of the tests that I saw that when AC Sephiroth had died, Gilgamesh was basically kind of the only character left and was able to finish off an AC Sephiroth and the Shrek in a team, as well as killing off the low tier healer. That was for that team. That to me is a pretty big statement of why Gilgamesh is in fact probably the current best fire character right now. However, with that being said, I don't think that it's a particularly great home for him as of yet, because I think that he will just be better in a pure spear team. That is something that has not changed for me. So we're going to go in here and we're going to do our demonstration now. Now, the demonstration this time around, we are focusing a little bit more on teams than we usually have. Normally, we like to just really pick a bunch of DPSs and just go in and test. But today I've kind of opted for this to show what, at least currently, I am kind of expecting to be generally really good for this character. So we're going to throw this on. As you can see, we just get a lot of buffs there. And we're just going to go through buffing characters, making sure that they are good and ready to go. And again, I really like the idea of potentially this team. I think that this team could be really great, maybe in the future. I mean, I say maybe because it's like, well, recently I feel like I've been wrong a few times. So, you know, just trying to cover my bases a little bit. Oh, and we should also just... we should not be unfair here. We should make sure that we are... Oh, no. Stay where you are. That was a misclick. And then we have two other abilities. We have this one, which gives, you know, more survivability. We'll probably run that well as well. We'll skip the Trust Mastery, although Trust Mastery would be an extra source of DPS. So just remember that. And now we'll start just firing off some attacks to see what we can do here. And I mean, this is a pretty big statement already, I think. You look at Ramada, and has Ramada cast all her buffs? No, not exactly. But 9,234 damage from Sephiroth's attack. And you look at Gilgamesh here, and Gilgamesh is taking a lot less damage. If we had Trust Mastery runes, we could sure up a little bit more of that curse resistance to keep him a little bit safer. But just taking a look at these stats of what we are essentially running here, a lot of AoE resistance that is keeping him quite safe from a powerful limit burst. So, you know, we'll just also try a non-limit burst AoE ability. And you can see, once again, there is a lot going on there in terms of keeping them safe. and just firing off that DPS to see, get potentially maybe a little bit closer in the future. We can also just heal Gilgamesh up should we need to. But also taking a look at magic DPS, once again, if we were to look at what Ramada's taking, you know, about 4,000 points of damage, considerably less for Gilgamesh. So I do think that his survivability is almost certainly unquestioned. You need to have characters in your party that deal with a lot of features like barriers, general damage reduction fields and whatnot to get through Gilgamesh. And the more HP he has, the bigger his heal is going to be once you get him down there. So there is a lot to get through. Now let's just take a peek here once we get back to Gilgamesh. See what is, so limit burst, 37 AP. And with this current build, you can see some of the damage that we are capable of pushing out. Accuracy, a little bit of a problem, which is a general thing we see with the test units. But at 13%, it's not zero, so there is an opportunity for him. It's better than what we see with other characters. And for example, his weapon can be crafted with an accuracy version to potentially give him more accuracy if you're worried about the kind of problems that there is with evasion characters right now. But Limit Burst is quite a powerful hitting ability, and if we just look at a few other of his abilities, you can see we're getting through damage pretty damn nicely, quite comparable to what other characters would be doing. And I think that is one of the really nice things here with Gilgamesh, is that he is capable of trading damage really well across multiple characters. Take a look here, we can see just a few other abilities. The one I particularly want to try out is this one, his AoE slash attack, which I was kind of a little bit down on the damage. Here you can see we're not getting through the barrier. Gilgamesh does have barrier destruction, but we're not getting it through here. But that poison status effect actually does have a pretty good chance of proccing on certain characters who don't have resistances on them, which is just another source of DPS against a character that can potentially survive quite well. So just a few other abilities here. Piercing type damage here, getting about 7,000 and about 4,000, quite nice. And you can see when we need to, Gilgamesh is very capable of getting through damage. However, as we have stated before, some of his abilities do have casting time, a little bit problematic. And there you can see that is an important source of DPS, is his follow-up attack, which is actually triggering the Gilgamesh one as well. But I don't think that is a negative statement towards how strong this character is. Do just think that he is generally really, really powerful. Trying out single target attacks, much as you would expect, they are generally better here. So firing this off, we can see about a current 6,000 HP heal. Pretty nice without Trustmaster runes, could be boosted more. But I have to say that I really like Gilgamesh more than I did in the initial review. He does seem to have some pretty good teeth to last out a potentially difficult fight, and especially that I've seen that he can go toe-to-toe with characters like Streken and AC Sephiroth, who are currently powerful characters. I've seen him against evasion-based teams, and he can get there. So that's enough for me to feel like he is worthy of a recommendation. He's just solid, but of course, the big question will be, will X-Death be a character to potentially counter him or one-up him? It's not the first time that we see the second character in a collaboration come along and be the stronger, more powerful one. But it's still early days. I want to see this character on an all-spear-based team, which I'm still missing a bunch of spear-based VCs, so I'm still trying to put together some kind of team to potentially test that. But very early days for me, and also my Gilgamesh is still not even level 79. I am really hedging my bets right now about spending resources on him because I'm really more excited for the big tree man who will come in about a week. So just to show off something before we close out this video. Wait for the load. And go over here. This is generally the team that I've been kind of throwing around a little bit thus far as something that I think is actually fairly cost limited. If I wanted to go into specifically higher, I think I just throw in Luciel potentially, but I haven't really thought too much about that. Between some of the VCs that are out there, there's enough offensive power and potential defensive power to really mount a good assault. But as I said, still very early thinking and planning about this, not even really that well made at this point, but you know, I'll get there eventually. There's always the Pew Pew team, which I will be looking at also in the near future. So thank you so much for watching, take care, and see you later.